If I think, therefore I am, but I don't think, am I not? Hi everyone, this is Naren's Life with MS. I am Naren and it's time for a Thoughtful Thursday. And today's Thoughtful Thursday is pretty cool because I actually got some really good notes from a very dear friend. And one of the notes was actually something that I thought I could discuss today, considering it is Thoughtful Thursday. And normally I'd like to think, or at least try to think about certain things on Thoughtful Thursday. And this is a very dear friend. They also have MS. I think that's a little too much information already. But I'll just say that, something that they actually found out, and I'm pretty sure it does help them in certain ways. And I will definitely try it myself. And that is, you know, what happens when your head feels like it is just filled with too many things, right? I mean, it definitely is something pretty common with a lot of people with MS, considering that our brain doesn't want to think, plan, or uh, a lot of times just has a little difficulty in understanding one thing or navigating certain things. But I'm pretty sure it happens with a lot of people where your brain just feels like there is just too much going on. It's very hard to put everything in order. And so the one thing that my friend did say, or at least did end up counseling, was to pretty much recircuit your brain. How do you do that? You just ask yourself, what do I think about next? Right? So all of those different um, at least all of those different thoughts that are going in your head, right? I mean, how much time is it going to take? How often do you have to do certain things? What is the time commitment of everything? How busy is everything? What is the priority of everything that you have to do? How busy your life might be? All of these different things. you know you can just rewire your brain. Just tell yourself stop and then say, what should I think of next? Right? This entire action. And I mean, I want to say personally, I have never actually done that. Usually you know I just let my thoughts run wild until I get tired and fall asleep. Normally I'm definitely aware that there are people who have much more important things to do in life, and they're not able to fall asleep, uh, you know just in case their brains just overloaded with lots of different thoughts. So I would say that in the future, if I do come across this scenario, I will definitely try and use this thought process of just saying, okay, let's pause over here. What do we want to think next? Right? Actually asking ourselves that, okay, sure, there are probably 101 things going on in my head, but let me try and think about what seems to be the most pressing matter right now. And that way, though, your brain pretty much automatically prioritizes what might be the most pressing issue. It might not be the most urgent issue, it might not even be the most important issue, but the whole point of this exercise is, it is at least getting you to sort of shed, the burden of thinking all of these thoughts and not being able to organize anything in your brain. So that is something that I thought was pretty interesting, and I definitely did want to share that. So I definitely do want to thank my friend for this thought. And I think they also mentioned that maybe it can be it can be one of the topics I can talk about on these videos. And as you can see, I am doing that a few short hours later. So thank you so much. But yes, I do want to turn it over to you. What are your thoughts on this whole idea of reprogramming the brain, right? I mean, usually one thing that I personally would have said is, okay, just go meditate for a little while. You might get the understanding of at least being able to say, okay, this is something that you should work on. But really, I think a lot of times we do not have the time or the availability to be able to do that. And so for that purpose, we do sometimes need to make snap judgments, and really physically asking yourself that exact same thing might really be the case that can actually set you free from you know actually having a clustered mind, right? A very busy mind. And I definitely know I am going to try it in the future, whenever I come across that kind of conundrum. Now, considering I normally don't get into that, I definitely hope that you can try it. Do do try it. Do see what ends up happening. Do also note down what were the effects or the impacts of you asking yourself, doing this small mental exercise, rewiring your brain, and uh, you know ending up with a certain task that you ended up doing. So what was the result of all of that? So of course, if you do end up practicing that, please do share your thoughts, your insights, your experiences, so that we can get a conversation started, and actually also compare how good our decision making skills are, especially when we are in a pinch. So that at least on one level, if I end up finding out that I am maybe not that great at making decisions, I can understand how better to make these decisions, especially decisions at a very short notice. So that pretty much covers something that I do want to um, you know engage with everyone over here, everyone watching this video. So please do try it. Please, if you ever feel that there are too many thoughts going on in your brain, just tell yourself to stop and focus on what you want to do next, right? What are you going to think about next? Because then you'll at least have a direction of where to go, at least for what you have to do next. And then after that, you can probably just repeat the exercise until your mind is at ease, or at least your mind will become a little less cluttered after you do that one activity, so that you can definitely go forward and you know be a little happier. So of course, with all of that said, I do hope your Thursday has gone very well. As you know, last Friday I decided not to do a Friday findings, so I will have Friday findings coming back tomorrow. So please be excited for that. And as you know, the weekend is also right around the corner, so I hope you have certain things planned for that as well. But of course, with all of that said, this is Nareen's FMS. I am Nareen, and here is me wishing you a good night, sweet dreams, and I will catch you tomorrow.